Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Yes. More big news. I love it when big news comes out on Sundays when everybody's home. This article is from CoinGate.com and is titled Ripple to Confer with SEC on Institutional Sales of XRP. We're getting to the end of everything. We're so close to the ending of everything. If they come up with a settlement for this and they can bring clarity to on-demand liquidity sales, we are in the door 100%. Then I believe firmly, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a lawyer. I firmly believe, though, that you will start to see activity happening, with that price. We have to get past this, but this is huge. It's some of the biggest news because now we know what else is left for certain, and we know that we can defeat them because of the precedents that have already been set. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission notified the court of the stipulated dismissal of the SEC's pending claims against individual defendants, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Executive Chairman Chris Larsen. That we know. It says now the SEC and Ripple seek to confer on a potential briefing schedule for the pending issue of institutional sales of XRP. That means the trillions. We're getting to that part now where we get clarity on the trillions. All right. Let's continue on here. They reiterate a little bit. It says now Ripple and the SEC seek to confer on a potential briefing schedule on the pending issue in the lawsuit. Ripple aims to look at remedies for its Section 5 violations with respect to institutional sales of XRP. Section 5 of the Securities Act of 1933 requires that securities be registered with the SEC before they can be sold to the public, including institutional investors. Ripple requests the court to consider November 9th to propose a briefing. So we have another date to add to our calendars, November 9th. We are moving. We're making major moves right now. This is huge. It says this will give both parties enough time to decide on a settlement or contest on the institutional sales of XRP. And this also lets people know another blockade that has been in the way for institutions using XRP. You see, they can't use it if we still have this problem. They can't use it the way that they want to use it openly in mass. I think that's logical. I think that's clear, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's continue on here. It says experts say Ripple must contest remaining issues, including XRP on-demand liquidity sales. There you have that, which is a concern for Ripple. All right. So if we can get past all of this somehow, who knows the timeline? I don't know. The lawyers will clarify that. When we can get past this, then we're fully in play. Globally, we will dominate. We're in position already. It's just a matter of getting past these little hurdles. This is it. We're at the end of the game. I don't know when the game will end. I just know we're at the end of the game. We're at the climax. This is it. Right? Okay. So then they go into a little bit about, will the SEC appeal against Ripple? I'll wait to see that. Let them do what they got to do. We're just going to keep our guard up and keep swinging for the fences. We're going to keep fighting, standing on our square, and we're going to keep winning. Keep that positive winner's mind state. All right. Spartans to the end. So now, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. All right. Got to say that. So now let's move on here to this section, to this article here. This is on dailyhodl.com, and it is titled Bitcoin, XRP, and two other trends are driving the crypto markets right now, according to analytics firm Sentiment. So this is huge coming from the Daily Hodl, a big, powerful website, to be putting Bitcoin and XRP together like this. And I've been seeing this in a multitude of articles everywhere. This is great promotion because in the past, it used to only be Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm seeing more and more Bitcoin and XRP articles. That's not to put Ethereum out there, on outskirts. Not at all. It's still a massive, major player. People love Ethereum, but this is great promotion and great light to be in for XRP. So it says, according to Sentiment, the king crypto I don't know what they're talking about here. Let's start at the top. In a new blog post, crypto analytics platform says that optimism centered around Bitcoin and XRP are driving the industry in October, while developments with Reddit and the Federal Reserve are causing concern. But the Fed is always a concern for all markets. We'll get past them. We can survive them. We'll outlast them. According to Sentiment, the king crypto, okay, they're talking about Bitcoin, hitting $30,000 twice in 1 week, and the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission dropping its charges against Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen has brought new bullish sentiment to the markets, as it should. As they both of them look super bullish for the future, super bullish. It says, quote, high discussions of Bitcoin's $30,000 range are typically going to be celebratory. Therefore, you'll see it overlapping with high FOMO, fear of missing out sentiment, when Bitcoin's price is trying to penetrate a resistance level for the long term. High discussions of XRP lawsuit may already be showing a bit of buy the rumor, sell the news aspect to it. Yesterday, XRP jumped plus 10% when insiders were first notified of this news. Okay, so they're talking about what already happened. And now that the explanation for the jump has hit mainstream, XRP isn't seeing a secondary decoupling from the market, at least not yet. You want to be, to be completely honest, look, I look at all the events that have happened as just moving forward as far as getting closer and closer to XRP decoupling. Not that they will actually make XRP decouple right now, because there's still a lot of blockades that we have to get through. I think that's reasonable to think. So once everything is clear, then you'll see that decoupling if it is to happen. And I definitely believe that, because there will be nothing standing in XRP's way, and it's not going to be retail, although retail will have its piece. It definitely will have its piece, but retail is not going to be what moves that XRP price. We haven't seen it yet with all the different crazy bullish news that has happened. I don't think you're going to see that. Retail cannot move XRP's numbers that way, and they just don't have that feeling for XRP in that way. I mean, you and I, if you are also an enthusiast of XRP, are a special group. Now, when institutions, which is what XRP has been pushed on and pushed to and built for, when they get in and those trillions begin to flow, or billions, whatever, at least as long as it's more than what's happening now, then those numbers will begin to move. Until then, I'm not disappointed if that does not occur, because its primary purpose has not been served as of yet, So now let's move on here. All right, they talk about a little bit more about other cryptos. I'm not even going to mention those because I don't even know what they are. Yeah, I don't even know what those are. So let's move on to a little bit of Stellar related news here. Now, I've been trying to keep up with all the companies that are building on Stellar. They've been doing a great job. As you've heard, Wisdom Tree, recently we covered that article where they said they're expanding their Wisdom Tree Prime app, which runs on Stellar. A little bit of it also runs on Ethereum, to be fair. Now, this article here says Franklin Templeton establishes partnership with the Venerable. We just keep getting connections to bigger and bigger companies. It's unbelievable at this point. Now, there's a reason why this is very significant in my humble opinion, but it's based on what another super bullish bank coin has done. But let me read this little tidbit here and give you the information. All right. It says Franklin Templeton Investment Solutions to partner with New Venerable Investment Advisor to design funds and select money managers for Venerable Variable Insurance Trust. Where does this sound familiar? Let's keep going. Franklin Templeton leverages deep expertise in partnering with insurers to align its capabilities with their goals and priorities. Franklin Templeton is deepening its asset management leadership in the insurance industry by entering into a partnership with Venerable Holdings Incorporated. Venerable today announced that Venerable Investment Advisors, its new wholly owned subsidiary, intends to engage Franklin Templeton to provide sub-advisory services with respect to certain funds in its newly formed Venerable Variable Insurance Trust, VVIT. Franklin Templeton will provide sub-advisory services with respect to VVIT alongside Russell Investments. Now, let me stop there for a moment. Now, if you go back and you remember what happened it was maybe earlier this year or sometime late last year when Algorand set a lot of precedents. And this is why I look at things a certain way. When Algorand went into Italy and they were beginning to work with all of these different banks, right? Which to this day is so bullish, it's unbelievable. I love Algorand, simple as that. But one thing that they did that kind of went under the radar, it wasn't only banks. Go look at those articles. Algorand was working with the banks and it was setting up infrastructures to move certain data and capital for insurance companies in Italy. So we have that capability now. Stellar, which is rapidly becoming more and more like Algorand, facts, because of their rapid advancements of smart contracts. Of course, Algorand being one of the absolute best when it comes to smart contracts. Look at it that way, right? But now having that occur, Stellar also can serve certain purposes for insurance companies. You see where this is going? Of not just moving capital. Stellar's already one of the absolute best at moving capital here and there, near instantly, with liquidity, with control, now with smart contracts. So they can also play a part heavily if Franklin Templeton decides to deploy DLT services for this insurance company or others that they may be walking hand in hand with. This could be huge for Stellar if that does happen. Now, listen, I'm only making this connection because Franklin Templeton is using Stellar, number one. And number two, they're getting involved with an insurance company. And Algorand has already shown that we can dominate when it comes to really all companies, all different types of companies. I mean, Algorand is dominating with insurance companies, right? Algorand is dominating with healthcare companies through ModPay and others like that. Algorand is dominating with gaming. So there's no limit to what we can do. And with Soroban, if you look at how advanced Soroban is, it's not just made for people to move money. It's made for all of these various things that, once again, I got to reference Algorand, that you see companies on Algorand doing. Stellar can now do. So there's no guarantee in this, but I'm keeping an eye on this to say, wait a minute, this is something that could grow in the future. Now, I also made the call long ago before there was any announcement from Franklin Templeton or Wisdom Tree, and I said that they could expand their use of Stellar, right? Okay. Then it was a short while after I said that, maybe about 2 months after I said that. And I said it a few times in quite a few videos. Then they came out and they did interviews. I think it was Wisdom Tree first. Wisdom Tree came out and said, hey, we're interested in expanding our use of these DLT services. And then what did they say a couple weeks ago? I covered that as well. Hey, we're going to expand our use of these DLT services, which they're using Stellar. So I believe that, once again, this could be a good call to say that this might be something very, very bullish for Stellar blockchain to get involved with. Now, I wonder if the people from Stellar might make a push towards this to say, hey, we can secure some of your data, move some of your data. We have smart contracts for you. We can move some of your capital if you like. I mean, everything is right there. We'll see if that actually happens, but I'm just putting that on the table. Not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee, but it's something that I'm definitely looking at. And I like to share these things that are on my mind with you, right? So Stellar continues to look good and be in a good position. Now let's move on to another article here. This article, I'm trying to keep a balance between the videos also, right? So some of the videos recently, like I love to entertain. So some people love like a heavily entertainment based video with a good balance of information as well. And some people like to have very little entertainment and a lot of information. And I understand now, I'm starting to see that there's a balance between those two audiences here. So some videos I'm going to have just crazy fun. You'll know by the thumbnail. And some videos may be a little bit more serious. You know, this is going to be one of the more serious videos. We got a lot of stuff to cover here today. This article here is from U.Today. It's about Solana. Solana continues to look extremely good. It says Solana leaves Cardano in the dust with double-digit price spike. I told people Solana looked bullish. I told people weeks ago Solana was looking good, and now look what it's doing. And I can see that coming from a mile away because a lot of people love Solana. A lot of companies love Solana, and that's what's more important. They have a great relationship with companies. It's to see crypto is getting out of being more about retail, like it was in the beginning. Although retail is still there, is heavy, is beginning to grow into a more institutional asset, right? It says Solana sets remarkable pace in crypto with 29.4% price surge in just a week, dwarfing Cardano's 4.1% uptick. Well, I would assume that because Solana has a lot more going on. It's in the news a lot more. It's constantly reaching out to companies a lot more than I've heard Cardano doing. Let me put it that way. Then I've heard, because maybe Cardano has done that quietly. But I'll say this, there's not as many bullish articles written about Cardano activities. You have to have tangible, visible activities going on for you to have something like this occur. And that's why putting out what you're doing is very important, so you can build that bullish momentum. It says Solana has witnessed a significant double-digit price increase, currently priced at $28.40. Where was it a month ago? You remember that? Way lower than this. Solana experienced a 29.4% rise over the past 7 days, while Cardano's price edged up just 4.1% to 20. What's this? It said 25 cents. Is that where a Cardano is right now? I wouldn't know. Solana's market cap stands at nearly 11.9 billion, which puts it in 8th place by market capitalization, according to CoinGecko's rankings. Cardano, which is currently valued at $9 billion, currently stands at 9th place. It says, in addition, Solana's recent rally was not just limited to overshadowing Cardano. In the past week, Solana outstripped every other cryptocurrency in the top 10, including XRP. Why did they throw XRP in there? What do you mean, including XRP? They don't even do the same things. I don't get that. I don't get that. This is because of the bullish news. Okay, it says even though the latter was riding high on Ripple's recent legal victories. Yes, but once again, that's not the catalyst that would propel XRP's price. That's not it. I wouldn't expect that. I didn't expect that. So no, that wouldn't be it. There are catalysts in the future. We have to get there. That will skyrocket XRP's price, but this was not it. No, because the case is not completely over. Everything is not completely over. Although we had a brilliant victory and I loved celebrating, and it was worth celebrating every little second of it, but we still have a little bit more to go. And a lot of people know that. So no, that's not what's going to explode that price. No. It says here, Asian investors driving rally. Asian investors appear to be a significant force behind Solana's impressive performance, according to recent data. The graph above shows that the APAC region, Asia Pacific, has shown a significant upward trajectory in the cumulative returns for Sol. At the same time, the US remains stable and the EU experiences a modest rise. Solana's booming NFT market. I can't wait for the NFT sphere to come back. It's so explosive and there's so much capital to make there, and it's going to be much better than it was the first time around. I can promise you that. And there's so many rare NFTs. Like you'll see in the future. You'll see. Solana's performance is not restricted to its token price alone. According to data from CryptoSlam, the blockchain reported sales of 1.43 million in non-fungible tokens over the past 24 hours. By comparison, Ethereum led the pack with NFT sales over 9.9 million, followed by Mythos chain at around 1.39 million. Notably, Cardano lagged behind with a modest $132,929 in NFT sales. Yeah, I don't know what Cardano has going on with NFTs at all. I've never heard of them being major with NFTs, but then I haven't kept up with Cardano, to be fair, as much as I have all the other utility coins. So now let's get to some serious news. This is insane. I just reported on something on the other channel the other day, or maybe it was in the members only section, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that members only video, please check that members only video out. Now, the whole video is potent in my humble opinion, but more specifically, check out that last chapter, right? Check out that last chapter, okay? I want everybody to be okay out there. I'm just going to put it that way. Protect yourself at all times. And when I say protect yourself, not advice, not financial advice, but I think wise people would protect their future. Check out that last chapter of that video. And if you have to, look up that article, read it for yourself. All right. So now, This is from dailyhodl.com. By the way, shout out to Akuma, shout out to Akareko, shout out to Blockchain 663, Lazar Current, Lil Balls. Appreciate everybody out there. Shout out to everybody out there. Okay. So this is from the dailyhodl.com. 18,500 million in U.S. Treasuries sold by BRICS trio, China, India, and Brazil in 1 month. And that's another, I forgot, check out the second chapter in that video, right? The second chapter in that same members only video I released yesterday. Check it out. Major thing. The world is changing before our eyes. We're living through history. You know, we're going to survive everything that's coming. That's how I feel. A trio of BRICS member nations are unloading billions upon billions of dollars worth of U.S. treasuries. New numbers from the U.S. Treasury Department show China's ownership of treasuries plunged from $821 billion in July to $805 billion in August, a decrease of about $16.4 billion. Fellow BRICS member India also pared its U.S. Treasury holdings by $1.5 billion in the same time frame, from $227.4 billion down to $223.2 billion. And Brazil slashed its ownership of U.S. Treasuries from $233 billion in July to $232.5 billion in August, a reduction of $600 million. All in all, the BRICS trio sold off $18.5 billion worth of U.S. government-backed securities. This is absolutely unbelievable. You know. Last week, Kobisi reported that China appears to be heading for a recession. Now, remember I said globally, there's a global light version of a depression going on. Really, it's just a depression. Let's not even call it a light version anymore. All the economies are hurting badly. Now you're starting to hear this. Listen, if the United States is in a depression, or they like to say recession, but if they're in a recession or depression, right, then Europe, a lot of parts of Europe are struggling very badly. This is what I'm reading. If they're in a recession and depression, and Germany definitely is, and if Germany was their biggest economy, then that doesn't bode well for Europe. If they're in a recession, and then if China's in a recession, I mean, all of these major economies aren't doing well, then it's a global recession/depression. Like I've been saying. So they're confirming what I've been saying for months and months at a time, which I think is something that could clearly be seen with the proper research, which means what for the people? That means the people need to be prepared no matter where you are, you know, protect yourself at all times physically, but also protect yourself, protect your capital at all times. You know, there needs to be adjustments made in order for everyone to continue to live the same way or better throughout this tough time period. And it's only just getting started. That's another thing I want to put out there. This is just the beginning of some very hard times, in my humble opinion. You could disagree, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So now, just to prove a little bit more, and typically I would cover this article on my global economic channel, but I have some articles to drop tomorrow that are just so explosive. I don't really need this one for the other channel's videos, my Mick Alphanim channel. Check this out. This is from NewYorkPost.com. And you know it's bad when they have to tell the truth, right? It's titled, "Foreclosures Continue to Surge. Tell me we're not in a depression. Wage growth is down. People are getting laid off by the tons. Tsunami of bankruptcies. The banks outright are in trouble. Affordability of living is absolutely terrible. The housing market is doing terrible. And you have these foreclosures surging." It says, are they a threat to the housing market? You think that they're not? It's unbelievable what's going on here. It says, is this a repeat of the 2008 housing bust? They love to compare, but it doesn't matter right now. What matters is, how does this affect the people right now? And comparative thinking is not the way to take right now, in my humble opinion. Let's look at what's going on right now. The people are going to tell you, hey, I don't care what happened then. What's going on right now? I'm suffering right now. So that's how I look at it. What's going on now, and how can we remedy this problem? So now let's look at this. It says the number of homeowners hit with foreclosure notices in the third quarter of the year jumped 34%. That's crazy. From a year ago to nearly 125,000, according to a recent report from real estate data firm Adam. They were up 28% from the previous quarter. Across the country, about 1 in every 1,121 properties had a foreclosure filing in the third quarter. That's a return to almost pre-redacted levels as foreclosure moratoriums put in place in the early days of redacted have expired. Filings include default notices, scheduled auctions, and bank repossessions. Quote, foreclosures are on the rise again, unquote, Adams CEO Rob Barber said in a statement. Quote, it's evident that some homeowners are still grappling with the redacted's financial aftermath. It's not that. It's not that. Everything, the economy is terrible across the board. If they keep referencing this one event as the problem, that's exactly why they can't remedy the problem and come up with solutions. That's exactly why. They're not looking at horrible monetary policy, horrible policies outright across the board. There's so much I could say. It says, or encountering new challenges, unquote. Well, thank you. At least they put it that way. OK, that's respectable. I respect the statement more now. It says about 11,000 homes were repossessed in the third quarter, representing a 5% jump from a year ago, while rising foreclosures and still high home prices might give folks some unwelcome flashbacks to the run up to the housing bubble that burst in 2008. Real estate experts don't believe another foreclosure crisis is looming. Well, there's something. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a myriad of different types of crises that could pop up, including new versions of things like mutated strains of, certain bad matter. Right. We'll just put it that way to play it safe on YouTube. So what you're seeing now is something new, but it's just as bad. It says in the aftermath of the Great Recession, the most dangerous mortgages with payments that ballooned sharply over time have largely been eradicated from the market. Well, mortgage rates just hit 8%, right? Mortgage rates hit 8% while wage growth is absolutely terrible. And the people have affordability problems right now. They can't afford all these high priced apartments and homes. So, I mean, I don't understand the point that was made here. They have been eradicated from the market. The market is terrible right now. You got people living in vans. I'm not joking about this. People choosing to live in vans. They call it van life. Type in on Google van life. Then because van life was taken off, people living in vans and RVs, because that was taken off, then the markets, of course, they want to still make some money. They said, well, we're going to come out with these tiny homes, which still people are. So they've been pushing this tiny home thing every single day for the last 2 weeks. I just keep seeing articles on this stuff just popping up. Right. And that's how they're trying to make some capital now. Right. Because of things like that. So, that stuff, it has to be fixed. Things have to be fixed. And people should know about this. Right. These were the loans that got many homeowners in trouble when they could no longer afford their monthly housing bills. So we're going to leave that right there. I want to move on here to this article here from marketwatch.com. So, of course, we got to talk a little bit about the Fed. This is from marketwatch.com. It's titled Fed Says Bond Market's Term Premium is the Reason Behind Rise in Treasury Yields, why investors should take it with a dose of caution. I take everything the Fed says with a dose of caution. All right. I don't trust the Fed at all, or any so-called regulatory entity or authority figure. This is just my way. U.S. Federal Reserve officials and some investors are increasingly focused on something that can't be easily explained by the economy or monetary policy expectations as a likely driver for the relentless selling of government bonds that has brought long-term treasury yields to their highest levels in more than 16 years. Wait a minute. So you don't understand market manipulation? You don't understand that the people are rebelling from the top to the bottom and they understand how to play the game? You thought that they were only going to play the game in stocks and crypto and other assets. They're playing a game with you. So we know, and they know, that when they sell in mass, you're just going to up the yield to try to bring them back. This is very, very simple. Very simple. You're being manipulated. You don't like it. And I'm laughing the whole time. The entire time I'm laughing. But you see what it does is when they do go back, it's a liquidity drain, right? You up those yields because you're weak and you're soft. No disrespect, but this is what I'm perceiving from the U.S. Treasury, weak and soft. You up those yields and then they come back. And then there's a liquidity drain from stocks and cryptos and commodities and such. And that's highly problematic. It says the so-called term premium of treasuries, or the compensation that investors require for bearing the risk of holding longer dated bonds, has taken center stage as some Fed officials started to think a rising term premium has driven much of the recent surge in 10-year and 30-year treasury yields since late September. You don't say. Sometimes they say, you ever hear someone say something and it's so obvious, you're just like, why did you need to say that? That's very apparent and it's very obvious. The rising treasury yields are believed to do some of the heavy, quote, heavy lifting, unquote, of cooling the economy, right? Because you're pulling, my goodness. So the central bank may have less need for additional monetary policy tightening. Really? I'm waiting to see that. Okay. All right. You said higher for longer. And you said future rate hikes are not off the table. I'll wait for you to prove it. Maybe you'll stick to what you're saying here, this type of verbiage. But so far, the Fed has seemed wishy-washy. We'll see how it goes. Now, let's move on to more historic news. A lot of historic news here. All right. If you've made it this far and you enjoyed this video so far, I will appreciate it if you click the like button. Thank you so much if you do. This from watcher.guru and it's titled 39 countries. They're up from 21. Now they're up to 39. Screenshot this, save this article. OK, we're living through history right now. 39 countries ready to join BRICS in 2024. Who are they? I need the list because I need to know how significant their impact is going to be. I need to know a total of 45. Why did they say 39? Why did they said 39 at the top? It says 45 here. All right, let's read it. A total of 45 countries have expressed their interest to join BRICS before the 15th summit in Johannesburg in August. This is concerning, folks. They are moving extremely fast. New financial system coming in hot. I'm telling you. In a historic, they're taking over like a huge swath of the planet. That's not for nothing. In a historic move, BRICS inducted 6 new countries into the bloc this year out of the 45 applications they received. A total of 22 countries had formally sent their applications to join BRICS, while 23 other nations have informally expressed the interest to join the group. They forgot to put a few words in here. BRICS sent invitations to Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Argentina, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia to enter the alliance in 2024. While 5 among the 6 countries are likely to accept the invitation. Okay, let's skip that part. I want to get to the 39. All right. 39 other countries have not backtracked their decision to join BRICS bloc yet. They seem confident that the bloc might induct more countries in the next summit in 2024. The Russian region of Kazan will host the event next year in August 2024. It says here we go, folks. Here's a list. The 39 countries that are ready to join BRICS in 2024 are Algeria, Afghanistan, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belarus, Bolivia, Comoros, Cuba, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Gabon, Honduras, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Mexico, Morocco, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Pakistan. Nigeria, really? Wow. That's interesting there because of ICAO's relationship with the West. That's interesting, folks. There's a lot of shifting going on as far as alliances. Pakistan, Palestine, Senegal, Sudan, Syria, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, Uruguay, Venezuela, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe, among others. Wow, that's incredible what's going on. Developing countries are siding by BRICS as they look for alternative options to end dependency on the U.S. dollar. All eyes are on the U.S. dollar. Keep that in mind. They are after that dollar as the United States itself greatly damages the dollar. In gold, I trust. I'm just going to say that like that. It's just me. I don't trust that dollar. That dollar is under attack, is under threat right now. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I was going to do a little gold news. I don't know if I should. I'm running out of time. It's already late in the evening right now. I'm trying to get this done here. You know what? No, we're going to do a little gold news. Why not? This is from fxempire.com. Trying to give you your money's worth here. Going the extra mile. All right. It says amid Mid-East tensions, potential rate hikes, surging treasury yields, stagnant dollar, investors eye gold with short covering setting the tone. I don't care how the price goes up, as long as it goes up and is looking good, baby. Oh, yeah, it is. It says the escalating geopolitical tensions between redacted and redacted are reflecting heavily on gold. Let's skip that part. They talk a little bit about the safe haven aspect of gold. We went over that before. It says short-term forecast. In short term, the outlook for gold remains bullish, primarily fueled by the ongoing conflicts in the world. However, the speculative nature of the rally contrasting with the genuine demand-driven move suggests a potential pullback if the geopolitical situation sees a respite. So if it cools off. But we all know that anybody who's been in gold for a while understands that when tensions are high in the world, something disastrous happens, gold goes up. And then when it cools down, those people liquidate, they take their capital out, and then the price will go down a little bit. So that's just the natural flow of gold. That's it. There's nothing to be concerned about, in my humble opinion. It says, this underscores the importance of a thorough analysis for investors, urging caution while making investment decisions in a volatile geopolitical economic landscape. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I say be cautious in everything. That's how I say. But I will also say that it doesn't seem like things are cooling off. They're heating up. There's more activity. There's ships being deployed from both sides. U.S. ships deployed there. Right? China ships have also deployed there. That is super concerning, folks. So you have that going on. You have what's going on between Lebanon and other entities, right? I mean, it's like everybody is getting involved in that situation, right? Which means that it's not cooling down. It's heating up. People should hope I don't know. I can't say what people should, but I think wiser heads probably should cool off and hope that those situations would deflate and cool off. Right. But that's not what's happening right now. So as far as the effect on gold, that may last a little bit. That may last for a little while, as I think more and more people will look to use it as a safe haven in coming months, unless something dramatic happens and things change. And hopefully they do. Hopefully it changed for the better. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.